CEO and co-founder of Plan A. Also, since 2018, the co-founder of the Green Tech Alliance. Funnily enough, the story of the Plan A company setup kicked off in London from a flat not too far from here. I was desperate after watching a lot of documentaries in 2016 after a serendipitous trip to Morocco where I ended up cleaning beaches from plastic. I was thinking, is my career in fintech, after having also worked in investment banking, making any dent to humanity and changing not only lives but also the meaning of existence in my own way of being able to contribute? And the answer, unfortunately, was no. So I decided to go through a passionate and dramatic journey of 1 year, just diving into the data and pretending to be a knowledgeable pseudo-scientist that was committing themselves to something that was quite unclear. What ended up happening since is something I don't want to spend most of the time speaking about. Plan A is pride and glory for my whole team. We're now 150 people. We work with more than 1,500 businesses. We have, on average, been able to decarbonize for the mid-sized ones between 2 and 5% on a yearly basis. For the large ones, we're struggling still to get to the 1%, but these are the companies of the likes of BMW, Chloe, the European Commission, Pangaea, and a lot of others. I think what matters to me most in terms of the context of this event is speaking a little bit about the Green Tech Alliance. The truth is, after the dramatic statistics that you gave, after learning about the fact that we can't even breathe properly, which we all know, I think I'm not going to be able to give a lot further context of why we all need to be working on this topic, and the sheer amount of people here is a demonstration that we're all committed to this. What pushed me into creating the Green Tech Alliance is what I wanted to share today. 2017 was the official launch of Plan A, and that was a desperate solo founder, female founder, climate founder in London after Brexit, kind of a reality which wasn't particularly pleasant. And what I was confronted with then was lack of funding, lack of knowledge in terms of the investor audience, as well as very little understanding of the return on investment on all the efforts that all of us are making in one way or another. I think the desperation is still there. The level of disappointment that our community has not gone maybe fully away. And in 2018, I decided to put a list of all the things that were the big challenges that I was facing as a founder, and ultimately find a community that would allow for people to access funding mainly and visibility. So the Green Tech Alliance is now a community of 3,500 startups. We've supported many of them, and up until today, we've been able to support for funding for more than 100 million through introductions to investors. We have 200 VCs that we've connected with, and we pester with a lot of emails saying, check out this startup, speak to them, look at their pitch deck. We also give a lot of feedback on how companies can improve their way of speaking to investors. And it has been absolutely incredible, actually, to kick off this purely because I have been feeling in 2017 quite lonely. I think we've spoken about this extensively. And it felt like you were shouting in a desert because, you know, especially coming from the traditional banking sector, you know that there's a lot of ways in which you can be convincing of return on investment, but when you add climate to the equation, it gets a little bit trickier. So we actually, as Plan A, have offices in Munich, Berlin, London, Stockholm, Paris. I spend most of my time between Paris and London, and also Berlin because we have our first office there and most of our development team. And now with the Green Tech Alliance, we are going to be doing some big announcements in the coming months. But I wanted to use this opportunity to actually offer our time and capacity to help anyone that is looking for funding, access to corporates, and also visibility. Alongside the VCs, we also have over 100 journalists. They sometimes don't get what's the whole story behind the scientific startup because they simply don't understand maybe the innovation, but we try to translate the message to them and explain why it matters. And if there's a kind of hope or message of hope that I can leave you with, is that after working for 7 years on this topic and having seen we've been able to raise from like Silicon Valley funds. We have a bunch of corporates that are investors as well, like Visa and BNP, Deutsche Bank. I'm sure that you've been following up with the announcements, pushing them to divest, and they've been finally making some announcements in the last few days. If you feel like maybe your day-to-day activities are not showing or demonstrating to yourself that your time is making a difference, I would beg to differ. I spend most of my time, I'm on the board of the Ministry of Education of Germany, external board of BMW, also on the sustainability board of Chloe, and companies are not only waking up, but also their management is incredibly concerned that they're not competitive enough. And the only way that they can stay so is if they start listening to us. So thank you for all of your work, and if there's any way in which I or the work that I'm doing with the communities that I have access to, please get in touch.